What inning was it? The 13th?
13th inning, bottom of the 13th.
1-0. Freddie Freeman with a walk-off, baby.
Reds had the bases loaded, top of the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get a run across, and the Braves win game 1.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I got to celebrate where I can. It's 2020.
It
We
had-
might not play another baseball game the rest of the year.
And it had a
You
lot
got to
of
get them while you can.
lot of records were broken. I started watching in the 8th inning.
One heart was broken, too.
Yeah, I think more than one heart was broken. But they have more strikeouts than any other playoff game in history, like 37 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
But we couldn't get 38. That's what we needed.
You needed Freeman to strike
Why did
out.
we pitch to Freeman?
I don't know. I'm glad you guys decided to.
Yeah, that was terrible. That's terrible. All right, so that's enough sports because I'm angry at that game, and you're up 1.
Just trying to fire you up, buddy.
So there was an event last night, like some type of televised event that happened.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people watched.
There were quite a few that did watch.
Yeah.
However, I think that based on most people's opinions of it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about you, but there's a lot of yelling and screaming going back and forth. You and I have had far more civil discourses than what happened last night on that debate stage.
Yeah.
And we disagree on a lot of issues.
Okay, but before we get to that,
We
Mike,
need to do a read.
we got to pay the bills.
Let's
we
pay a
didn't
bill.
do a good job yesterday, so we got to do a better job today.
All right, so Solar Stick, and they were established in 2006 as a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing. Currently, we're consistently innovating and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. Solar Stick focuses on providing solutions for self-sufficiency that helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. Solar Stick, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing right here in the oldest city.
Yeah. So
great company, great group.
Good.
We love them as sponsors.
Yep.
All right.
No, they've been with us since the beginning, so appreciate you guys' support.
Very beginning.
And so I mean, there was pure chaos last night.
Chris Wallace said on Sunday, "If I do my job, no one will know I'm here."
Yeah.
So Chris Wallace clearly failed. I mean, you get a big F on
It's
that.
not
if you're
him
Chris
that
Wallace.
failed. It's
Oh, yes,
the
it was.
assholes on stage that
No,
failed. Oh,
nope.
yes, it was.
Chris Wallace.
No, screw that, Mike. And I know you were
The
going to go
Hodge
there.
twins disagree.
I don't
The
give
Hodge
a
twins
shit.
completely disagree.
And,
Right here,
and I
Pete, can you
tell
see what the Hodge twins put out?
Donald
Does that
Trump,
look good right there?
Donald
the Hodge
Trump
twins.
got confused. He thought he's king and not president. The way he acted last night is just total disrespect.
You mean I didn't
and
vote for a
embarrassing.
king last time?
You
I
did
voted
not
for
vote for a
president?
king.
Are you sure?
If you voted for a king, I'm really, really sad for you. But it was horrible. It was embarrassing and it
Mhm.
was horrible. And the difference between Chris Wallace when he talked to Biden did shut up. When he talked to Trump just talked louder.
Okay.
And Trump's like, screw you, I'm president, I can do whatever I want. And that's his entire attitude, and that's why his character just drives me nuts. Biden he's not qualified for the job.
He is not qualified for the job.
And
And neither is Chris
Trump-
Wallace.
And but Chris Wallace isn't going for the job.
He was last
No,
night.
he wasn't.
He finished second in the
you are
debate last
such
night.
A Trump,
He
get your
finished
head
second
out
in
of
the
Trump's
debate last
ass.
night.
Get your head out of Trump's
Biden
ass.
finished a distant third.
Man, that is so ridiculous, the statement. You can't even admit that the actions that Donald Trump did last night were just embarrassing. You can't admit that.
No.
See, we can't have a regular conversation.
We're having
We
one
can't
right now.
No, we can't.
We're having
because
one right
if
now.
you can't admit that, and the way he handled it, and he tried to throw Biden off his game, and it doesn't make any sense to try and throw Biden off his game. He never was on his game, and he should have just kept his mouth shut
Okay.
and let Biden sink with the anchor. Just tie the anchor around his neck and let him go. He had no policy.
There were several times. Dana Perino had a great comment last night afterwards. She said that there were a lot of times Biden was about to fumble the ball on the 1 yard line, and Trump handed it back to him.
No, he just gave it. He just gave it right back to him and said, "Here, oh wait, you dropped this. Let me be a jerk and interrupt." And he hands it right back to him.
But are old-fashioned debates over?
Mhm.
Are they done? I mean, we'll find out.
I don't know.
Can you sit there for 2 minutes and listen to somebody lie about you? Could you sit there for 2 minutes and listen to somebody lie about you?
I mean, are they lies? Which ones were
I
lies?
think both.
I don't know which ones were lies. There was a postman that sold ballot. That didn't exist.
Yeah, it does. There's a story out there.
Oh, that's the story. Yeah, Alex Jones told the story.
Alex Jones was
Alex
not in any of my
if you want to
stories.
reference Alex Jones,
I'm
go
not.
ahead.
Now, see, you just Joe Biden it.
Yeah.
We're trying to have a civil conversation, and you just threw a Joe Biden in there.
We don't have rules.
You
of engagement.
I know, but I'm asking you, could you sit there for 2 minutes and have somebody lie about
I
you?
couldn't be a politician.
I get that,
I've already
but
said.
apparently neither can Trump.
Yeah.
He can't sit there for
I
2
said
minutes
this-
either. And
I
watch
said
somebody
this
lie
in
about
2016. He's not.
He's not a politician.
He's not presidential. He's, and unfortunately, the bad part is, and this is the worst
Was
part.
Biden calling Trump a clown presidential?
He was being a clown.
Okay. So it was presidential for
It was-
Biden to say
no,
that.
He was being a clown.
I'm just saying if Biden calling him out,
Like, if you agree with him and you agree with his
I'm
personality.
not agreeing with Biden. Don't ever say I agree with Biden.
No. If you agree with Trump, and by the way, your man lost that debate last night. He lost that debate. I was going
Really?
to call it a draw.
Okay.
I was going to call it a draw.
Yep.
But your man lost the debate because social media is the one thing that's stuck and everybody's stuck with is the whole Proud Boys thing. And Biden's the one who let him into it. And I can't believe Trump bit into that.
So I don't think he handled that part of the debate very well.
Yeah, remember I just texted you
No,
and said
I-
he handled the first segment right before that. It was his best segment.
If you want to see a long dissertation about that, go to Scott Adams' blog
Mhm.
because Scott Adams spent several shows debunking
Mhm.
the good people on both sides lie that the Democrats have propagated because that's not what Trump said. It's taken out of context from his Charlottesville comments. He said it last night. Scott Adams was ticked. Scott basically has taken an approach that you would have taken about 4 years ago. Trump doesn't have my vote now. He can get it back, but I'm really mad. And Scott Adams is mad at him because he laid out how you debunk that and what you have to say. And he said Trump didn't say any of that. So you and Scott Adams are in the same group in that disagreement. All right?
Yeah, he and the thing is the question that Wallace asked was definitely a gotcha question to Trump. And Trump's response could have been, I condemn all hate groups. And said it like that. Wallace didn't have the Proud Boys in the comment. If you catch it, and I had to watch it the second time, it was Biden who said Proud Boys.
Biden put that out there,
Yeah.
but Biden, when asked about Antifa, said Antifa is not an organization.
Yeah, he says it's an idea.
It's an
which
idea.
is bullshit, too.
Which is bullshit too.
Yeah.
So neither one of them, and again, Scott Adams agrees with you and I on this, right? I'm because I listened to his blog today to kind of get a different opinion. They both completely bumbled that answer.
No. It was-
Both of them should have said, we disavow violence and racism on any side from anybody. And if you do it and you're systematic in it, your organization should be declared a terrorist organization, whether that's Antifa, whether that's the KKK, whether that's the Proud Boys, whether that's Black Lives Matters. That should be the standard by which we're judging this by. Neither one of them got to that standard last
I
night.
can't believe he got to stand down and stand by. And that to me, I literally, I'm watching it with my 19-year-old son, and I said, did he say what I just thought he said? Because basically it's like, I'll call on you in a second. And that's the way it came across.
Okay.
That's the way I interpret it. That's the way
You
my
took
son
it as a
interpreted-
threat.
I took it as I'm going to put you in basically in the bullpen, using a baseball term. I'm going to put you in the bullpen, but I'm not, I'm still your guy. And that's the way the Proud Boys took it on social media too.
So in that whole exchange, and Rush was going through this today, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it because I had to work. But
I didn't.
I know you didn't. I know. There is during that you have to listen. Donald Trump said, "I disavow him." And I don't know the exact words because I didn't hear it. He did say it, but because Wallace and Biden were over talking him, there was one of the few times you couldn't hear him over everybody else.
Poor guy. He got
I'm just
over-talked.
saying. I'm just
I feel
saying.
so bad. No, but I mean, he got flustered because he was answering the question to Wallace, and it's the one time that I think Biden got to him.
Yeah.
Because Biden's the one who put the Proud Boys in his face, and
Yes.
and then he kind of went back with, "Okay, who do you want me to do?" And Biden said Proud Boys, and that's when he made that statement. And he was he had his answer. He got thrown off, and that's the only time I saw him
Yeah.
flustered, because the rest of the time he was on the attack. And the one thing I said in yesterday's show,
Mm-hmm.
which he did not do in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
is try not to be the biggest jerk in the world. And he was the biggest jerk, and they humanized
So-
Biden, which is what the Democrats
So
wanted
hang on.
to
So
do.
I went everywhere today
Mhm.
for information.
Mhm.
So if you were on the left, Biden won hands down,
Mhm.
right? If you were in
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
middle, you were appalled
Yeah.
at what happened.
Mhm.
If you were on the right, you're like, Trump crushed him.
Who said Trump crushed him?
Everybody on the right that
Oh
I
my
read today.
dear God,
I'm
that
not
is-
kidding you.
That is. Do you
I'm
think,
not
do you
kidding.
Think he
I'm
crushed him?
simply telling you what I read today.
But you're on the right.
Let me finish.
Do you think he crushed
I
him?
think Trump did pretty good last night under a different metric than what you're looking at.
Mm.
Was he congenial? No. Was he polite? No. Was he overbearing? Yes. So today when I went on the HuffPost,
Mhm.
right, the old Huffington Post website, there were 8 stories about the debate last night.
Mhm.
7 of them had Trump's name in the headline.
Mhm.
7.
Yeah.
Only 1 story on Joe Biden on the Huffington Post. Now, you and I said 4 years ago, part of what his strategy was just get every headline,
Mhm.
get every news story. If that was his goal last night, he exceeded. He was
I can tell you-
exceedingly successful.
I can tell you this. He had my vote going in. I'm not 100% now, and that number went down
I get it, but
because of that.
but today in your conversations,
Mhm.
what percentage of your time talking to your friends was spent talking about Donald Trump, and what percentage of your time was spent talking about Joe Biden?
Oh, it's always Trump.
Okay.
But that's what it's always been. It's always Trump, and that's the PT. We did have the PT Barnum conversation
Mm-hmm.
of it's always Trump. But man, my gosh, dude,
I hear
that
what you're
was
saying.
embarrassing.
So-
I'm sorry, that was embarrassing. Like I can just see like even people in France who's known for being rude
Yeah.
go, wow,
Well,
that's worse than any of us.
I do wonder if, like, the Crips and the Bloods said, "Hey, we'd like to teach you guys how to get along."
Yeah. Okay.
The Hatfields and the McCoys, "Hey, we're holding a reunion. You guys are welcome to show up."
It was just really, really uncomfortable. And the thing is he missed an opportunity because the new Green Deal,
Mm-hmm.
and Biden said, "Oh, I'm not in favor of it," but Trump could have stayed. That's where Trump could have stayed on him and said, "You're vice president."
Well, do you know who helped him out of that? Chris Wallace.
Okay.
Biden went off on the tangent.
Mhm.
So
It
I'm
was 2
against the
minutes-
new
his 2
Green
minutes
Deal,
was up,
right?
yeah.
Biden's answering that he's for the new Green Deal. It pays for itself. He's going into detail how it pays for himself. After he said he's not for it, Chris Wallace interrupts him to ask him if he's for the new. No, I'm not for the new Green Deal.
Mhm.
Biden completely screwed
he
that
was
moment up.
going in a circle.
Oh,
So
he
was going in a circle. So I understood Chris's question.
He was
at that time.
he was a one-armed man in a
Because
rowboat.
Chris was like, "Okay, are you for it or are you against it?" Because I didn't
Mhm.
know either.
Yep.
And I wanted Chris to ask that question.
Yeah.
But as soon as he answered that,
Mm-hmm.
Trump should have just went, "Okay, your vice president
Yeah.
is a co-signer of it.
But let me give you.
Did you pick her because of the new Green Deal?
Yeah.
And her policies, or did you pick her because she's the most convenient person for you to get votes?"
So let me give you Dan Bongino's theory.
Mhm.
Okay, and this weekend I told
Dan
you
Bongino's
he's a former FBI agent. He's a Fox News contributor. He's on in the morning, and I didn't really agree with this morning. I got kind of thinking about it, and the more news I read, I kind of said, well, maybe there's something to this. So over the weekend, I listened to a podcast on Real Clear Politics
Mhm.
by the polling guys. All the pollsters on Real Clear Politics are saying this is one of the elections where there's very few people that are undecided. And I saw a stat today. It's like 8% of the population is
I think
undecided.
there's more today.
Huh?
I think there's more.
Well, hang on. So Dan Bongino's point is you're not going for undecideds in a debate anymore.
Mhm.
You're going for your base. And like I said today, if you look at the base, Donald Trump's base was very happy about what happened last night.
I don't see how.
Well, hang on. Pete, what did you think about last night?
I thought it was a mess. I thought Trump's strategy was to get Biden off of his toes.
Mm-hmm.
I think if anything positive for Trump, I think he probably accomplished that. But man, I haven't talked to a single person who thought anything about that debate was any good.
And Pete, just a follow-up question. Did you talk to anybody who said Trump crushed him?
No.
Right. So,
The-
so
the
I'm going to
first time
ask.
I heard that was from you when you stepped in there.
I know I said that just to get you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I talked to 20 to 30 people today.
Well,
and not one person.
I had
said
people
Trump
call me.
crushed you.
I had people to call and say, "Is this all okay? It's all okay." Trump didn't do well in the first debate last time.
Mhm.
He did. Listen, if you're one of our listeners,
Mhm.
Troy's going to do a read. While he's doing the read, let us know who you thought won.
Mhm.
Let us know
No,
if you
I-
thought either one of them behaved properly. But send us a message in there. And while you're doing that, share the podcast.
Yeah.
Just hit the share button. Go
Share,
ahead.
hit the
We
full
got-
hit the full screen
hit the
button
full
if you
screen
haven't
and share.
already,
Yep.
so you can see my face turning red when Mike makes statements like that. All right, Center State Bank. The team at Center State Bank is a group of bankers you can count on. Their approach to building long-term relationships with their customers is the best in the business. If you're looking for a banking relationship you can depend on, check out Center State Bank. They've got 3 locations to serve St. Augustine at State Road 312, State Road 16, and at the beach. Or visit the website at centerstatebank.com, member FDIC.
All right, before we argue any more
Mhm.
about the debate, there's something that's really important that we need to do. So this happens every December.
Mhm.
It's Wreaths Across America. So Bill Dudley and the Navy League here in town do a phenomenal job of this locally. But we want you to go to Wreaths Across America, sign up. It's donations for individual wreaths started as low as $15. If there's 2 wreaths, purchase is $30. And the council receives a free wreath. So Wreaths Across America is where you want to go. You want to go ahead and donate. The goal is to get a wreath placed on every single American veteran grave site for the holidays, for Christmas. So go out there. We'll make the announcement a lot more times. In 2019, they placed approximately 2.2 million veteran wreaths.
Mhm.
So we've donated in the past. Uncommon Ground is going to donate again. I think you and I probably
Mhm.
both donated individually last time.
Mhm.
It's an absolutely great program. So go out there and make a little note. Don't leave now. But right after the show's over, go to the Wreaths Across America. All right. So Dan Bongino's theory was since there's so few undecideds, you have to keep your base.
Mhm.
So Trump went after his base last night, but he also tried to alienate some of Biden's base. So by attacking him on socialist issues, and Biden says, I'm not a socialist,
Mhm.
all we need to do is peel off a few socialists.
That's
right?
and that's where Trump goes. You just lost your left.
Correct.
You know what? You know what brought the left back?
When Trump said
When
you
Trump made the comment, because
Yeah,
he just made
yeah.
a decision for the left, which is the absolute worst
Yeah.
thing you can do
yeah,
for the left.
correct. But I also thought the new Green Deal was a lose argument.
Oh.
And here's another one that Biden completely flubbed last night.
Mhm.
When Trump said, name any law enforcement organization,
I'm glad you went there.
name any law that's backing you.
I'm glad you went there.
Go ahead.
All right. Immediately,
Mm-hmm.
the Portland sheriff tweeted,
I saw that. Well, Trump
Tweeted-
claimed that the
claimed that
Portland
he was
sheriff-
endorsing him.
Yes,
and immediately
I saw that.
on social media,
Yeah, I did see
that
that.
happened.
Yes.
So,
No, well, hang on.
and Biden locked up on that.
Biden
that was-
completely he froze. He was deer in the headlights.
He locked up on that. But if he'd have known
Yeah,
where the Portland sheriff
he
was,
could have said something.
he could have said, "Well, the guy you said's endorsing actually isn't endorsing you. He's
Yeah.
endorsing me."
Well, here's the thing. Biden yesterday wanted breaks at 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Biden didn't need a break at 30 minutes. Trump didn't need a break at 30 minutes. Wallace didn't.
I needed a break.
Hang on.
Yeah.
No. The group that needed a break was the fact checkers. They were going so
Oh,
fast.
dude.
I don't know how
On
many
both
fact checkers
sides.
they had,
On
but they
both
had to
sides.
be like, oh my God, will they just take a
There was-
breath so we can catch up?
Joe Biden, there was one point Joe Biden said coronavirus has killed 1 in every 1,000 black people.
It'll be 1 in 500
And
by
it'll
the
be
time
1
the
in
show's
500 by
over.
the, it's like that there's no way that's even close to true.
No,
there's no
there's not.
way.
No.
What was the other statement that I texted you guys in the middle of? And I so wish we'd have done the mystery theater.
Yeah.
And next debate we need to try and do that. But the fact that he said something about Kellyanne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a chance to look that
I
up?
didn't look that up.
Okay.
Where Biden said one of your advice. Look, I thought that Trump really kind of needled him a bunch of times, and he did a pretty good job of that. So, a couple other stories that were out today. Telemundo did a flash poll.
Mhm.
So, what do you think the results were on Telemundo for who won, Biden, Trump? Give me who won and the percentage that they had to win.
I would say they had Biden winning in Telemundo.
But what percentage do you think?
I'll say 60 to 40.
Okay, Pete.
I'm going to go off you asking the question again and say the Trump won 56.
Trump won 64-36
Wow.
on Telemundo.
Mm-hmm.
Now and listen, everybody was shocked.
Yeah.
That
doesn't
was
sound-
the-
that doesn't sound.
That was the shock. So here's the thing. If Trump's actually polling above 50% with Hispanics, Biden can go home now because he's not
Well,
going to
it's
win
Florida. It's all. I'm telling you, it's all about Florida. I'm
Arizona,
telling you.
Texas, Florida,
29 in Florida are key.
maybe Nevada.
If you
okay.
don't win Florida, you don't win.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Now, the other one, Huffington Post actually did some journalism last night. So they don't often do journalism, but they did. They sent a reporter to Pennsylvania. So Mike Pence spoke last night in a field in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
People drove, some of them that they interviewed drove for over an hour to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They watched Mike Pence speak, then they watched the president's remarks. So this reporter's out there. Now he's armed with the New York Times story from the other day, right? The New York Times story that says Donald Trump didn't pay taxes.
That's the okay. I already said that's the most ridiculous thing.
I get
and
you.
I found out something about that also.
Okay, so hang on.
See if it's the same information.
So, well, it's not that. It's the reaction to the story from Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Trump made the comment 4 years ago, he'd shoot somebody in the middle of downtown New York and he wouldn't lose any support,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's how the article reads on Huffington Post. Also, we're satisfied. Trump's response to questions about a recent Blockbuster report. It's the same damn report they ran 4 years ago, right? At the same week, right before Hillary Clinton's first debate with Trump, that he didn't pay taxes. It's the same damn thing 4 years later. About a recent Blockbuster report showing that he, despite being a billionaire, has paid little to no federal income tax for years, all right? So one of the people said, Joel said, even if that's true, I really don't care. Another person, right, was not concerned with the major investigation published by the New York Times. Comment here. He's got a great accountant. I would love to know who that accountant is, right?
Yeah.
Another one, I'm not voting for him because of his taxes. I'm voting for him who's the president.
I would like to see his taxes because I would like to see, full disclosure. But the story I read is in 2016, he paid over $1 million.
Mhm.
The 750, and you've done this before,
Mhm.
and it's happened to me. You send in that, and the government will send you back, hey, you owe us this much.
Yeah.
The 750
Mm-hmm.
was how much to make it in balance.
Okay.
That's what I found out. It was the 750.
You are shitting me.
Made it back in balance.
No
it was,
way.
It was an additional 750. They had the deposit from it,
Yes.
and they took that as that's all he wrote.
What? Have they never damn well paid taxes?
No, and the next year it was just over $1 million in like 16, and in 17 it was like 4.3 something like that.
Yeah.
So that entire story, they took one component of it.
The New York Times lied?
One component of it.
I can't believe it.
And that is where that was at, because I was like, dude, I'm really pissed if he's only paying $750 and I'm paying
So
more.
here's one of the other people in the Pennsylvania field last night. My feeling for what he does for this country far transcends what happens with his tax returns. That's a non-issue for me. So the New York Times 4 years ago staked, hey, we can break Trump with this tax story. We'll divide him from his followers. We didn't. So what happens this time? They run the same story, and Trump's followers, like, nope, we don't care. Doesn't matter to us.
And I texted you guys this last night about fact checkers and stuff like that. The difference is, I don't know if Joe knows he's not telling the truth, because
No.
I think he thinks what he's saying's for real. I think Trump just gets on a roll and just randomly throws crap out there,
Yeah.
and then goes, hey, can you make that true?
Can you make
Can you make that true?
So
and like the Portland sheriff
yeah.
thing, he didn't have a conversation with this guy.
You know, in a business world, he's like, somebody in my organization is calling that guy to make sure I got his endorsement
Yeah.
before I leave the room. Unfortunately, that's not how it works in politics. So Biden illustrated perfectly for everyone last night to see what a politician will do.
Mm-hmm.
So when he thought he was against the new Green Deal, he argued against it.
Mm-hmm.
When he thought he was supposed to be for it, he argued just as adamantly for the new Green Deal until Chris Wallace reminded him, you're not for the new Green Deal. At which time,
No, Chris Wallace
already-
actually asked. He said, "Are you for it or are you not for it?"
oh, I'm not for it.
Yeah, and that because he was going in circles. I mean, I was just like, wait a second.
That
I don't know which way he's at with that.
But that's what politicians do.
Yeah.
So if
But-
they're in one crowd, if they're in a crowd that wants them to be for something, they'll lie to you and tell you they're for it. They're in a crowd the next night,
Trump is that guy.
different.
Trump is that guy.
I don't think Trump is going to be on both sides of the
Whatever,
new Green Deal.
whatever gets the
Is
deal
Trump
sold.
going to be on both sides of the new Green Deal?
He better not.
Okay, I'm just saying that he's not that guy.
He better not. And that's where
Not that guy.
that's where I'm just in such a horrible spot from my side. You're okay with it, which I don't understand. So, I look at him and go, I just can't stand this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in the South with manners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm a jerk, and I'm and I get called a lot of things, but I'm not that guy.
And I'm not the one that calls you all of the things.
No, you only call me half of those.
I only call you some of them. Pete doesn't even call you all the things that you get called.
Pete calls me less names than you
Yeah.
do. But I just look at him and go, gosh, I'm at the point right now, and this is you know, I'm truly there. I'm at the point right now. I have three choices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I vote for Trump.
Yes.
All right, I don't vote for either one of them.
Jill Stein's not running this time.
I don't vote for either one of
You
them.
can't vote for the Green Party.
Or I vote for Joe Jurgensen.
Joe Jurgensen. And Ralph
Okay,
Nader's not
but
running either.
I can't,
No.
for my family's reasons, vote for Biden.
You can't.
I can't.
You
I
can't.
can't. And it frustrates the hell out of me that I truly don't have a candidate. I'm not voting for a candidate anymore. I'm voting to not put this policy in place.
So what did you think on the healthcare argument? Because that healthcare has been Biden's biggest argument. We joked about that, all three of us texting last
Yeah.
night.
I-
But where are you at with, do you want to see Medicare for all and a universal healthcare system, or do you want to have the option that you can go to get your own insurance company?
And I'm not. It's not a topic to me because I'm always going to be able to have health care.
Mm-hmm.
Because of my own financial status. So I mean, I don't. At least I hope I am. I can't say I always will. At least I hope I am.
Yep.
So, it's not a topic to me that's as big as it
Mhm.
is to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And I think Biden did okay on that question, but there's so many loopholes and screwed up portions of Obamacare.
Mhm.
It's not going to be functional.
Yeah.
And where Trump said he took my people and made it work better,
Mm-hmm.
that was a mistake in my opinion, because he said, "Oh, he got it functioning," and it gave that glimmer of, okay, this could work, and I don't think that's where he wanted to go with it, and I don't think that was his intent.
Yeah.
He was trying to brag on his people that it was so screwed up, it's working better now, and I get where he was trying to go with it, but I don't think that was the right strategy.
I think the correct answer for Trump is, I'm going to save the parts of the existing healthcare system that you like.
Mhm.
We're going to improve it. Now, I would have already had it done, but I need Congress. And because Democrats
Freedom Caucus.
refused to accept the outcome of the last election, I couldn't get it through Congress. And you throw that back at Biden, it's your party that's blocking us from making progress on this. And I think you throw that out at him rather than some of the other arguments that he had.
They would have had it done
You're going to go
the
back
first
to the Freedom
100
Caucus.
days,
I know.
because that was where Trump was focused.
I know.
That was where Trump was focused, and the Freedom Caucus got a little too cocky.
I got you.
So
I got you.
it would have been gone. So it would have been gone, and Trump would have. That would have been a nothing burger in this election
Yeah.
if that would have happened.
Okay.
It was one of those things where they were feeling good about the election, they were
Mhm.
feeling good about having the Senate, they were feeling good about everything, and they're like, we can get more.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, good government's about compromise and getting the best deal you can get, and we ended up with nothing.
I understand. understand.
Yeah.
You're all against the Freedom Caucus. I got you.
No, I'm against that vote.
I know.
There's
Okay.
certain things about the Freedom Caucus I'm
Uh-huh.
okay with. Taxes?
Taxes, you're okay.
I'm okay with them on.
All right. We need to do one more ad.
Okay.
So I gotta get over here and
I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and do this one while you're.
I
Are you
got
ready?
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're good.
I'm ready.
You're good.
I'm ready.
I didn't know if you had to go through.
For
your-
those of you that are looking for dinner tonight, I'm about to give you one of the greatest places in St. Augustine, Carmilo's Pizzeria, locally owned and operated by the Tringali family. Voted best pizza 9 years in a row. They've got a New York style brick oven pizza. They also serve salads, subs, wings, and more. They offer dine-in, takeout, and delivery through Bite Squad and Grubhub. The Tringali family and all of their staff would like to thank you for your business during these unusual times, and they are the best pizza.
It's the
in
best
St. Augustine.
debate pizza you'll ever have.
Oh,
Because I had it last night.
did you? I almost picked one up on
Yeah.
the way home, and I was
Had
so
it.
mad I didn't last night
I bite squatted it last night.
because I was by myself. Everyone else went to bed.
Uh-huh.
It was a late night. Everyone else crashed. I was by myself
Yeah.
watching, and I was fine. I was emotionally fine. I wasn't upset. I was taking notes for today,
Mhm.
and then we got stolen from.
Yeah. Well, and I want to ask this question. You know, did you and Jake talk before
Listen, you son of a bitch.
before you
Listen.
started talking about Florida State? And he
Listen.
says, "Here's what I'm planning on saying,
God.
Mike," and you plagiarized that.
No. You go back and watch our show last Thursday.
Yeah.
And this was my quote about Florida State football.
Yeah.
I said it was a shit show and a derailing train falling into a dumpster fire about to be hit by a meteor. That was my quote about Florida State football because we were going to play your team, the Hurricanes,
Mhm.
and that's about what we look like. So Jake Tapper comes up with a bad bar fight and a derailing train going into a dumpster fire, and his co-host,
She
Dana
actually-
Bash
she
says, "Oh,
actually goes,
it's a shit show."
it's a
And I'm
shit
like,
show.
you two son of a bitch. I mean, I don't mind when people I like steal from us. When Russ steals from us, when the Hodge twins steal, I'm okay with all of that. I like all you guys. When Hannity and Tucker. But when Jake Tapper is listening to us, stealing from us, it kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm just not happy about it.
And I don't listen to this person or read this person. Did you see anything from Ann Coulter today? Because she's usually on things like this a pretty straight shooter. So I didn't know if you saw anything from Ann Coulter today.
I think Ann Coulter has taken this election cycle off.
Yeah.
I haven't read much from Ann. I haven't seen her. She hasn't been on the talk circuit. I think Ann Coulter doesn't want to say anything bad against Trump. So she's taking the position as a kid, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So
That's
she's
different for her.
It is, but I think she recognizes I could sway some people,
Mhm.
and I don't want Trump to lose the election. He's our only hope, so I'm not going to say anything.
She's frustrated with
I think
Trump.
she's frustrated with him mainly on immigration issues,
Mhm.
which I still think Trump has done a great job
We have
on.
immigration issues now?
Well, you don't
I thought
anymore.
they disappeared.
They did disappear,
Mm.
right? Which to me tells me that Trump must be doing something right on the southern border
Mm.
because nobody's complaining about it anymore.
Except the failing wall.
What failing wall?
There's a failing. The new wall that they put up is falling into the Rio Grande.
I haven't seen that. I need to see that.
So-
You should bring that
yeah,
story in.
yeah.
I didn't see that one.
I'm not here for content.
I know. You just make. I don't even know if that's true.
You
We
don't know.
Pete, can
It's
you
the
fact
same-
check Troy, please?
It's the same as what
Can
we
you
heard last
fact
night.
check Troy?
No, there's a failing wall.
I heard that wasn't a wall. That was a new bridge.
Yeah,
That's a new bridge.
well, it's
We
a-
needed a new bridge to Mexico, and I
it's-
built one.
It's that fence, that panel fence that you can kind of see through the.
Yeah,
It's-
I
it
don't. So here's one for you. Mexico has the fourth highest percentage of death rate from coronavirus.
Mhm.
So I don't know of anybody that's right now is cheering to let just unfettered immigration come through Mexico
Mhm,
if the
mhm.
coronavirus is that
Yeah,
bad in
yeah.
Mexico. I think
So-
Brazil's has the number one rate and Mexico is number 4.
And what was it? The greenhouse. They both sucked on that.
Yeah.
The global warming, climate change, or whatever. They both sucked.
Do you know how far down the list when people are
Mhm.
surveyed that climate change is right now? I mean, it was probably
When I was watching the water raise the other day,
Yeah.
it was high. It was high on my list, man. I'm gonna tell you.
I
it
don't
was-
think climate change had one damn
Yeah.
thing to do with the flood that we had yesterday in St. Augustine. Not one thing. It was just a storm that sat here. We've had those in September before.
Mhm.
We'll have them again. It's just part of living in St. Augustine on the coast in September.
Yeah.
Usually October, we get really cool weather like we had today. We start to
Which
dry
is
out.
nice.
And the end of October and November are usually beautiful in St. Augustine. Well, the
Right.
nice thing was no tourists were here then. Now tourists are around here year round.
All right. and I'll ask both you guys this, and I'll try and answer it myself.
We thought you would.
High point for Trump.
When he walked out without a mask. And then he pulled one out of his pocket because he had one.
He had one in his.
He had one in his
lapel,
pocket.
in his
Yeah.
lapel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it said the 904 now on it.
download and share. No, you think what was the high point? You think that was the high point?
No,
for real?
I think Trump's high point is probably about law enforcement when he went after him and said you can't name one single law enforcement agency that has endorsed you, and that had Biden completely stumped.
Yeah.
The other thing I think Trump did really good on manufacturing when Joe Biden, and I texted this to you guys last night, when he threw out the lie about manufacturing went down under Trump, manufacturing jobs. That is so much bullshit that is so easy to disprove because what would Obama say? What are you going to do? Wave a wand and bring them back?
Yeah.
They didn't care. And you looked at the numbers in year 1 and 2 of Trump bringing back manufacturing jobs. Absolutely amazing. When Biden said that, I could hear Midwestern voters just going, "Yep, I'm voting Trump."
Well, and then when he started acting like a jerk again, it's like, that's what I'm saying. He had him. He had him.
I hear you.
All right. And the other thing, sticking to that point, and we were talking about Chris Wallace.
Yeah.
Biden said something about unemployment, his unemployment compared to Trump's unemployment. Wallace actually said, yeah, but what was the unemployment prior to COVID?
Yes.
Wallace said that. So, this is.
Did you see what Biden did?
Mhm.
Flicked them off.
You
didn't see it?
Yeah.
I caught it.
Fake-
They changed camera angles.
Fake news.
Hey, you're on my side. Chris, you're supposed to be helping me.
Fake news. All right. So
It was at that
And
point
I'm
that
gonna-
Chris Wallace became
I'm-
the second place finisher
I'm
in the
gonna-
debate.
I'm going to agree with you
Mm-hmm.
that the law enforcement side, supporting the law enforcement, was his best segment.
Yeah.
And then the very next segment was his worst. He followed up, and that was where the Proud Boys and the Condemned, because he legitimately he was thinking about where he needed to be.
Yep.
He got a call from Biden from the side about the Proud Boys, and I originally thought Wallace said Proud Boys, but if you go back and
Biden.
watch, it was Biden who actually said the Proud Boys and put it in. He put that in Trump's mind, and that was his lowest point because at that point, I think he knew instantly that was the wrong thing to say. At least I hope he knew instantly that was the wrong thing to say.
Well, if it was, you'll never hear him admit it.
That's
in public.
that's the problem I have. That's the problem I have with him is it was so clearly the wrong thing to say.
If he came out and said, "I made a mistake last night about the Proud Boys," the headline everywhere would be, "Trump admits he was a racist in the debate and now tries to backtrack."
Yeah.
They would grill him on every single headline. The best he can do is just move on and create a new controversy today.
Pete, best of Trump, worst of Trump.
Yeah, I think, well, the worst of Trump was probably obvious. I think everybody agrees on that. But best of Trump, I think it had to do with law enforcement, too, when he pushed Joe Biden to admit that he's for law and order, because that's a big Trump slogan, law and order.
Yeah.
So he
and
pushed Biden, and he
got-
made Biden say the words, "Of course I'm for law and order."
Yeah, and Biden did say that out loud, and that's going to be in the next commercial. The best one-liner though, to me, was from Trump, where they were talking about crowds, and he just quickly jumped in. And said,
Oh, that was a
and
great line.
He says he quickly jumps in. It was no one shows up, and you could hear Chris Wallace laugh.
"Oh no, he laughed out loud."
Chris Wallace
Yeah,
actually
he
laughed
laughed out
like,
loud.
and you could tell he had to do what we have to do is like
No,
lean
no.
back from the.
He
microphone.
laughed out loud, and then he immediately felt guilty about it
He
because he
did.
remembered he was supposed to be on Joe's
supposed
side.
to be
He's
the
like, "I'm not
moderator.
supposed to laugh at that one."
Supposed to be the moderator.
So let's rotate around the other way. Biden, what do you think Biden's best moment was?
Biden's best moment in this, it sounds crazy, but to me, Biden's best moment was defending his kids as a father. To me, as a father, he defended his kids. He's like, yes, he had a drug. And, that was because his policies all suck.
From the progressive liberal on the show.
No, his policies all suck. So he had nothing to defend there. But his best moment, and like I said from the DNC, he looked more approachable, more likable, and more human. and I still think that came across in this debate.
I thought
And I think that's what their focus was.
I thought the line about trying to bring his son into the unproven Trump comments about our military people were losers.
Mhm.
I thought that was poorly done.
Mhm.
One, it's a damn lie,
Mhm.
for one. Two, when you bring your son into that who passed away, I just
But
didn't
Trump
think
was had already attacked his family prior
He-
to.
he had
Trump attacked Biden's family first.
he attacked Hunter.
Mhm.
Okay. So he brings up Bo. Now, Trump shot right back with Hunter Biden, which I thought was one of the uglier moments.
Mhm.
It was like a WWE,
Yeah,
okay, here comes off the high rung with the chair.
Mhm.
And you knew it was coming. But I thought there was a better way for Biden to honor his son who served in the military,
Mhm.
who did extremely well. And he's got one son that did an amazing job in the military, another one that got kicked out. So I just
Did he,
did not
did he
think-
get a court martial? Because I couldn't find that either.
I don't. They didn't say it was court martial. There's a difference between a
Or
dishonorable discharge
dishonorable
and a court
discharge.
martial.
And
Those are
I
two
couldn't
different
find either one of those where
Yeah.
where he
So-
he was either dishonorably or I might have Googled court martial.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go back and look at that because I went there instead
Yeah.
of the other way,
I-
dishonorably discharged.
I thought Biden's best moment was that he hung in for most of it,
Mhm.
but I felt like that he had an opportunity, just as Trump had an opportunity to look presidential. The sniping back and forth, the longer it went on, the less attractive it was to everybody.
Yeah,
And
I thought
I
his,
felt like both of them, if Biden, almost had to snipe back.
he had to.
And there's people out there that said Trump seemed more powerful in the debate because he was the aggressor, and people will take that away from the debate that he won the debate just because of the tone, not the substance, the tone, and that Biden looked weak because he didn't fight back enough.
And I'll tell you this, and this is where I'm giving, and like I said, I thought it was a draw as far as the debate overall goes,
Mhm.
but I think Trump lost more votes than Biden lost.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think there are people that are mad at Trump today for not being presidential.
Mhm.
But again, I go back to what I've said, the way that he has been treated
Mhm.
for 4 years, for 4.5 years, ever since he came, has been disgusting by the press. And him lashing out at them, I don't mind. Every politician in both parties have taken swipes at him because he's not from the establishment. Joe Biden could not be more Democratic establishment than anybody else in the race.
Yeah, he's
They
been there
got the
47
oldest
years.
Democrat establishment guy to be their standard bearer.
It was his turn.
Donald Trump is the biggest agitator, outside influence that you could get in politics. And I just feel like that Trump's had enough of that, and he realizes the only way he can fight it is to just come out swinging at every instance, right or wrong.
Pete, which way are you going on that?
Biden shining moment and Biden bad moment.
Yeah.
Is that what we're still on?
Yeah, and then who do you think lost or won more votes last night?
Okay. Well, I think as far as good moment and bad moment, I'd say Troy, you probably nailed it with the just the two words "Proud Boys." That
Yeah.
was the best two things he could have said.
He attached that to Trump.
Yeah.
With
and
just he inserted that
it
at
wa-
the right time.
Yes, it was the only moment where he really nailed an opportunity. I mean, there was a small window, and Biden made the absolute best of it right there. But I think Biden looked bad most of the debate. I mean, look, I said to both of you guys, Trump's strategy was to go in and be the aggressor and get Biden off his game at any chance possible. And I think there were almost every single time Biden spoke and Trump interrupted him, Biden looked like his brain froze at points. I mean, Biden just looked like his brain was overloading at so many points in the debate. I really did think he was going to have a stroke. But I would agree with you, Troy, that Trump probably lost more votes than Biden did. But I don't think Biden won any votes.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think either side won. I think it's a matter of I think there's people out there with Trump when he made that statement. It was like, okay, I got to rethink what I'm thinking. And I don't know if it's enough to sway either way. I don't think either side crushed either side in it. I think Trump definitely came off as a bully, and I said that's the one thing he didn't need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he did exactly the opposite of what I would have coached him to do. I would have said, let this guy's policies kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
Here, hand him the rope, and let him hang himself.
Can we not use that term? Can we just say hand him a shovel?
Yeah, I mean, I used the anchor
I get it.
anchor term.
I'm okay
last
with
night.
that too.
I used the anchor term last
So
night.
before you read the ad, two of our listeners have gone and looked up. Hunter Biden was discharged, not honorably, and there was cocaine involved. He did test positive for cocaine before he was discharged.
Yeah, he was. It was in June, and in the fall, in the the spring of the next year, he was evidently discharged. But it doesn't say it was dishonorably.
No,
So,
but it was an honorable discharge.
He did have a cocaine test attached to his record.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Hebert Kresge. Hebert Kresge and Associates is a full-service local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to providing top-level service in the areas of tax compliance and planning for business, individuals, estates, and trusts. They also do audits, reviews, and other accounting services. Business evaluations, forensic analysis, and litigation support are just a few of the things that you can get with Hebert Kresge Associates. Give him a call at 904-460-0747 or online at www.hebertkresgecpa.com.
All right.
So,
I have another update from around the country.
Okay.
So one of my friends who splits time between here and North Carolina called me from North Carolina this morning to kind of talk about the debate and where we were and what was going on. And North Carolina may hinge on a political ad. Okay. So North Carolina is one of those states that's known for barbecue, right? There's the Carolina barbecue sauce.
Have a cook-off.
Yeah, which is different from all kinds of other barbecue sauces. Every area has, like Kansas City has a type of sauce. North Carolina has. So the Democrat Cunningham, who was running for the Senate against Tillis, has consistently been up by a couple of points in the polls, even though Trump is either tied or he's right there with Biden in North Carolina. I mean, kind of the same situation. So Cunningham stands in front of his grill, has an apron on, and they send out a tweet the other night about North Carolina barbecue, standing in front of his grill. The barbecue enthusiasts in North Carolina were quite offended.
It was a gas grill.
It's a grill. It's not barbecue. And so all kinds of people just lit up his Twitter account over
So it's not a smoker.
It's not a smoker. You weren't doing barbecue. You might have been cooking hot dogs and hamburgers, but grilling is not barbecuing. It was a very, you're like, man, that could change the whole race.
Wow.
Just an ad on that could change the whole thing. So if Tillis wins by a barbecue, you guys will know what happened. One good barbecue. Are you with me over there?
Yeah, no, I was checking some comments and seeing
all
if we
right.
had anything that we needed to
Okay.
hit. And Pete, if you saw anything, let me know on that. But like I said, I think a lot of people are very frustrated with how it was handled. And to me, the biggest thing I said yesterday, Trump did, and he was disrespectful to Chris Wallace in so many ways.
Do you think Chris Wallace was helping Biden more than Trump? Do you think Chris Wallace was unbiased?
I don't think Chris and that's something I saw from the right. I don't think Chris Wallace was helping either side. I think Chris Wallace was trying to stay within the guidelines of it, and there was one person that was clearly the rules don't apply to him on that stage. When Chris Wallace said something to
I
Biden,
don't think Joe Biden was that bad.
when Chris Wallace said something to Biden, Biden was respectful to Chris Wallace, and he said, and you he made this motion. Trump, it was like, I don't have to listen to you. Instead, now I'm debating you too.
Yeah.
Okay, you've already went over Miss Klobuchar, because she kept doing it, over your time by a minute and a half.
He's got much better hair than Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
I like the meme that was out today that said Chris Wallace looks over at Joe Biden and says, Joe, I'll take this question. There were a lot of people that I know on the right that were very upset with Chris Wallace last night. So I'm going to tell you universally, I think that people on my side of the argument thought Chris Wallace was very one-sided in how he ran the debate. And that he actually bailed Biden out multiple times when Biden was getting ready to make a bigger gaffe. And if Trump got on a roll, he just shut him down.
But I mean, on the unemployment question, Chris Wallace shut Biden down, but the Republicans didn't hear that at all, I guess.
And I didn't hear any of that. Pete, did
course
you
you
hear
did.
any of
Of
that
course
last
you
night?
did.
I just
course
saw
you
him
did.
helping
I
Biden.
think Chris Wallace bailed Trump out just as much as he bailed.
He did.
Really?
I really didn't see a bias,
Okay.
but I had a lot of people who did. A lot of people told me they did.
Like a lot of people on the right, because their man said, "Oh, I'm against you and you," so they're going to go with that. Chris Wallace did the best he could with a guy who thinks he's king, and that's
So there were a lot of people last night commenting, "Bring on Joe Rogan."
Oh, I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to.
A lot of them
yeah.
said, "Bring on Joe Rogan."
And I wanted it in an octagon too.
Who are you going to get to run after? Because Biden won't walk out of that octagon. That's not going to be a good place for him to be.
I don't know.
Trump's got reach on him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they're both old.
I know.
They're
I
both
know.
old.
Well, there was that comment. I had
They're-
a very young friend of mine tell me, "Why is it that all we have to vote for is two old guys? When do we
Mhm.
get young people to vote for again?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, you're just going to have to wait 4
Yeah.
more years.
Yeah.
You got to get a better candidate. There were young people on the Democratic side, and they all got pushed aside. So it was Joe Biden's turn.
Mhm.
It was
And,
Joe
and we did
Biden's
have
turn.
somebody comment that said Chris Wallace cued
Mhm.
Biden and silenced Trump.
That's
No
the
one freaking silenced
that-
Trump. Dude, that is the most ridiculous
No.
thing. And I'm sorry, I
That's
don't want to
the
call
thought-
it a comment.
that's the
but
thought
that's
on
the
the
most
right. No,
ridiculous thing.
that's
That
the
is
thought on the
That is
right.
100% on the right because
Yeah.
that's what Trump told him was happening. He only silenced him after his time was over.
I don't know.
Wallace didn't talk to him
Right.
while his time was going on.
So
I thought there were actually a couple of times where Biden was supposed to have some rebuttal time, and Wallace shut him down.
And shut him
actually.
down. Yeah, and that
which
that
probably saved him from another gaffe.
Probably.
Which
well,
is why people on the right were so upset.
Yeah. They just were like, go get him, Trump.
No.
And it's ridiculous.
All right, so we
We're not
wanted to
there.
run through too. I wanted to run through the audience. So Fox News drew the largest audience of anybody. They outdrew ABC, NBC, and CBS. So the way it worked out is we're almost 18 million viewers on Fox News,
Mhm.
right? There was another million on Fox Business, and on the Fox channel there was 5.4 million. So, but 18 million. ABC was finished second with 13 million. NBC 10 million. And then you had CNN
Like 8.
at 8 million, MSNBC at 7, CBS 6 million.
Mhm.
And again, Fox was at 5. So the Fox stations around the country, the local ones, drew that 5.4. The Fox News Network is the one that drew almost 18 million.
Well, and I'll tell you, because Blake and I, we talked about, okay, which way we're going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it because I was like, okay, we got a Fox guy doing the moderator.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll watch it on CNN, and then we'll go back to the commentary on Fox.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we tried to balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people on Fox were just like, what the hell just happened?
It was, but I think that's Trump's debate style or lack thereof debating style.
Yeah.
He's just constantly attacking.
Mhm.
I mean, he doesn't, there's very rarely, and Scott Adams brought this point out, if somebody calls Trump a racist, he doesn't reply to the "you're a racist." He just throws out the next attack.
Mhm.
And sometimes he should slow down, play a little defense, and then throw out the next attack.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and I, I think I've called Trump an ass about 5 times on this show. Someone tonight will get on to me about that,
Mhm.
and I'll look at him and go, "You wouldn't be friends with him,
well, you don't know.
and you wouldn't be friends with him."
You don't know.
The
I've
man,
never
the
met
man,
the man.
The
I've
man
never
who
met
acted
the
like
man.
that last night, Michael Allen Davis. You will vote for him. You will support him. But I know you better than you would not be friends.
Pete, you should have the camera on Troy right now.
Yeah.
Because I know someone who has acted like that in his lifetime, and I'm still friends with him.
You have not seen me disrespect people like that.
I have seen you disrespect referees and umpires. In fact, I've heard you tell an
That's
umpire,
incompetition.
no,
So are you saying
this is competition too. It's a competition
Fair
for the
point.
highest
It's a
office in the land.
competition.
All right, I'll go with it.
You Trump lover, you.
All right, you're saying, so all the people out there. Mike Davis said I'm the same as Trump. That's
Well, you are a mogul. You're involved in real
I'm a
estate.
mogul. Yeah, that's it.
We could keep going, but I'm
I
trying to
pay
be
more
nice to you.
taxes. I pay more than $750.
Not in the year it's due.
Yeah. He doesn't either. You think he paid in that year?
I don't. Oh man!
so I
You know,
pay
if Trump
on time.
finds out you're using Bear Kresge,
Mhm.
you're not going to have an accountant anymore because they're going to be busy just with him.
With him, yeah.
Just with him.
So,
Oh man!
and I just saw Crenshaw 2024.
I like Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw's got a good future. Dan Crenshaw wouldn't have treated people like Trump did last night. But he's a different personality. I
well-
get that, but it's.
Well, let's
I'm
do
sorry.
two things on Crenshaw. One,
Yeah.
have you seen his political ad?
Yeah,
It's a great
his
political
dream
ad.
team.
His dream team. Well, he's trying
How
to.
much money does this dude have? That was a.
That's a good
very-
ad. Well done
that was,
ad.
That was like a 3-minute ad, and it was like $1 million a minute.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you haven't seen Dan Crenshaw's ad where he's forming a team for Congress, House members that are running as Republicans in Texas, you should watch it. It's really pretty good. It's well done. The other comment on Crenshaw is I think he has, because of how he tweets and what he does, he's got a really big future. But Mike Pence, how does Mike Pence handle? I mean, of the four people that are debating,
Mhm.
Mike Pence is the nicest out of the four.
I can tell you this last night, and it's the first time I've ever felt this.
You were looking forward to watching.
I
Mike
was
Pence.
like, no, I was like, gosh, I kind of wish Mike Pence was our president. And I felt myself get ill. But it was the first time in 4 years. I mean, I've bashed on Trump,
Yeah.
you know, and I've had people get on to me because I voted for Trump. I had people get on to me because I voted for Obama. You know, I vote with how it affects my family. And last night, I was just like, you know, Mike Pence is still going to have the policies that I need to help my family.
Mm-hmm.
Biden doesn't have that. I was like, man, I kind of wish he was the guy.
Well, let me.
And that has you've never, ever,
No,
ever
you've
heard
never
those
been
words,
a Pence fan.
words come out of my mouth.
No. Well, Pence might have the best decorum out of the four of them.
I agree.
Now, and here's why. I mean, one of our commenters, William, kind of hit on it right as you were talking about it.
Mhm.
Mike Pence is from the Midwest. If you're from the Midwest and the South, I think you have more
You
manners
have manners.
than if you're from the Northeast or you're from California.
Yeah.
I think both of those areas, you're not raised with manners like you are in the South. I still use my manners to this day to people that are younger and older than me because I'm afraid my mom's going to walk up behind me and knock me upside the head if I'm not being polite to people.
Yeah. No. You
Present
ha-
company
you,
excluded.
you have manners, and even with us, we have manners. We don't disrespect each other.
So was it the fact that it's just two Yankees arguing with each other is what the biggest problem was?
It might have been.
I mean, did we just get two people from the wrong part of the country that
Ugh.
don't know how to be respectful to one another?
But the thing is, and like I said, all the way going back to the DNC,
Mhm.
the only thing they have is to make him more human. And because I mean, if I'm their strategist, I said it was good when they started. I think they held on to that going through. But at some point, Trump's got to shut up and let people realize that the policies that this guy has are nothing. They can't happen.
Yes.
You know, he just got to shut up and let him
Yeah.
do himself in.
I get you with that. I
Yeah.
really do. But it's hard to humanize someone who every time you see him, he looks a little bit more like the Crypt Keeper.
He does. He looks like, and I'll tell you this. Blake showed me the picture of the two guys in the Muppets arguing, and he
Yes.
goes, "This is what's going on."
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, we've talked about that."
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot.
Waldorf, and I can't remember what the other guy's
Yeah.
name is, but you know, that's what it felt like last night.
That would have been a great meme to put out
Yeah.
last night. I've
Yeah.
seen this show before.
Yeah, it's right there.
I've
It's
seen this
right
show
there.
before.
All right, I want to say thank you to you, Mike. Thank you to Pete and Mike. I can't believe you stayed up that late.
Me either.
Yeah, because you were tweeting even after, not tweeting, you were texting even after the debate. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, all our great commenters and watchers. Please share. You can still share this show. This is Uncommon Ground with Mike and Troy, and we'll be right back